I'm Ashton Addison from EventChain for Investment Pitch Media and the Crypto Coin Show. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Sergej Heck, this co-founder and CEO of PEAKDEFI. Sergej, welcome to the show and thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Yeah, it's a pleasure for me.
Yeah, I'm really excited to dive into PEAKDEFI, this asset management fund that your team is working on with the automation is really interesting. And I would love to just kick it off with an overview from yourself of what is PEAKDEFI and what are those initiatives that you're working on?
Yeah, so the idea of PEAKDEFI is, we created a protocol to create DeFi funds. So we want basically disrupt the traditional hedge fund market. And the USP is that especially, so there are already several other DeFi funds out there. And our USP is that it is like a performance-based DeFi fund. So it's completely decentralized. So investors can invest into so we have one. So you need to understand that we have one global DeFi fund, where investors can invest on the Ethereum blockchain with different assets into the fund. And now on the other side, every trader can trade this fund. And here we have the challenge. So here we need to sort out the bad traders from the good traders. And so every trader needs to, if he wants to trade this fund, he needs first to stake PEAK token. And second, he needs to buy reputation token. And this reputation token he cannot transfer. And he needs to use for every trade this reputation token. And if he makes a bad performance, he loses the reputation. And if he do a great performance, he gains more reputation tokens. And with more reputation tokens, he can manage more from the AUM of the fund. And therefore the good traders stay in the long term, and also long term we get better and better performance. So this is the idea of the fund.
Very cool. I like that twist, and that it is very performance based, and the good traders will eventually take control and hopefully move the fund in the right direction. So that's really great to hear.
Yeah, we tried, of course, at the beginning to talk with many good traders that they jump on the DeFi fund, and we started with several good of them, and now it looks good. So we have now, I think, around since December 2020 a performance of over 25%. So it's good. Yeah,
that's great to hear. And I want to dive into that performance in a little bit here, but I want to learn a little bit more about the fund itself. It is a DeFi fund. What specifically are the primary assets that are focused in the fund? Are you continually adding or removing assets, and how speculative does it get?
Yes, so you need to understand that this fund, so it's not like a fund where you have baskets, where you have several assets that you just buy and hold. This fund has a trading cycle. So the actual trading cycle, which we decided at the beginning, is 27 days. So in this 27 days, the trader can trade the assets, and right now they can trade over 30 assets on the Ethereum blockchain. So they can trade red Ethereum, red Bitcoin, BAT token, synthetics. So the tokens that has the most liquidity, of course. And and they need to close all their trades at least at this 27th day. Yeah, and then we have the profits or losses depending on that. Yeah, and then we have 3 days intermission phase where the investors can redeem their investment with profits, and also affiliates can redeem their commission, and also the traders can redeem their commission if the fund the trading cycle was profitable. Yeah. And of course we try to get more and more assets, and here we use the protocols of Kyber network and 1inch. So of course these assets needs to be also on these two liquidity providers.
Definitely. That's really interesting. A 27-day cycle. And then in that 3-day redemption period, in the next cycle, does it just start over, or is it using information and AI from the previous trading to change the way that the fund starts in the next cycle?
So for the traders, it starts from new. So there are some traders they using AI, some other traders don't use AI. So it depends on them. But if the next period, but for the investors, so if they don't redeem the investment amount, so the investment amount stays, and the same amount it will be traded in the next trading cycle. Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's great to know. And you mentioned that a lot of this is through smart contracts. I'm curious, with the Peak DeFi team and the founders and the management, how decentralized and non-custodial and hands-off is the team? Once you had set up the fund, how actively are you managing or changing or governing it?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, of course, at the beginning, we decided the most part how it should be, but and also after we did the audit by QuantStamp, we started the fund. So as we released the fund and in December 2020, so 7 months ago, from that point, the fund is completely decentralized. So and I think there's because we have no control over the assets, so it's completely managed by the smart contract. So the investors investing in the fund, and the traders managing this fund by using the reputation token. And also the traders have not access to the assets, right? It will be managed. I'm not a techie guy, but it will be. So nobody has control over the assets. Also, we from the founder team has no access to that. But the only thing, because you say so what we of course still decide are the next steps. So we talking with our community. So what they want to have, what they want to optimize, and this is still what we do additionally. But the fund itself is decentralized. So, but by the end of the year, it will be completely decentralized. So by the end of the year, we want to integrate governance, and everyone who is staking Peak token will have more voting power, and then it will be all future steps will be decided by the community, right? By the token holders. And right now, we still talking with the community, asking them what they want to have. We see what needs to optimize, and that we of course do in our way. Yeah, so in our direction. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was going to ask about the governance and how that ties into the Peak token as well. It sounds like you're very community focused and community driven in the direction of the fund. So that's really cool to hear. And you did mention in the beginning there was a reputation score, and I wonder if you could just elaborate a little bit more on the Peak token and how else it's required within the fund, and then how that brings value back to all of the users of the ecosystem in the fund.
Yeah, and that's what you said correctly. So we are really community driven. So because our Peak token has several utilities, and one of the utilities is, for example, that if you, like I already said, if you stake Peak token, so if you want to trade the fund, you need to stake at least 1,000 Peak token. Okay, that's the first utility. So if you want to become a trader, you need to stake them. And second, and here comes the community part, we also created the smart contracts, and that's very unique because I coming originally from the sales, and I was in the past an affiliate, and I love affiliate marketing, right? And we created the funds also, so you can have here also get affiliate commissions, and the more Peak token you stake, the more affiliate commissions you can get. So, and therefore it's really community driven. We have, it's a really good organically growth that we get. We already have over 400,000 transactions together on Ethereum blockchain and the Binance Smart Chain. So it's really good. And the third thing which will come is protection staking. So imagine, that's also unique. Imagine you have a fund that will never have trading losses, right? It's because normally you have always funds who also have some trading cycles that do trading losses, right? But in this case, we will integrate a function. So if the fund will do a negative performance in a trading cycle, then you will get covered by the loss. You will get covered by peak tokens, right? For example, you did a loss with 5,000 USDC, yeah. Then you will get, if you staked peak token, you will get in the same amount peak token minted, right, as a coverage loss, yeah. So this function we will launch at around September or August, and the last utility is of the peak token is the governance function, so that we will integrate by the end of this year. So the more peak token you stake, the more voting power you have. Yes. Mm-hmm. So these are the four utilities that we have in our ecosystem.
That's great to hear, and I'm sure that's going to be really attractive to the traders, especially if there's losses that they're acquiring more peak. So that's great. And you mentioned that you already were working with a lot of successful traders, which is great. I'm wondering if you could touch on any of the other partners or investors that you've partnered with to help grow the fund in the earlier stages.
Yeah, so we have several partnerships. So, for example, we were early in the part with a cooperation with 1inch. 1inch is the biggest DEX aggregator in the crypto space, and I know the CEO very well. And they, for example, we use the 1inch protocol for exchanging the assets, because the fund itself is USDC based. But if the user's investing with Ethereum or red Bitcoin, we need to exchange that. And also we use it for the traders. If they want to trade assets, we use also 1inch. So we work here together. And of course, it's also a bit of community exchange. Yeah, if they Twitter something or we Twitter about them. And also we're using them for our PEAKDEFI wallet app. So we have also a wallet for iOS and Android, and also we have there an integrated DEX which we're using, where we're working with 1inch. Also especially for adoption in German-speaking countries, we have a partnership with blockchainhero.com and CoinCourier.de. that are big news websites in German-speaking countries with a big traffic. So there we have also a partnership. And therefore, we have a good German-speaking community also. And so the last cooperation that we made, also for our on-ramp solution, we're working to get also quicker adoption for users who are not crypto related or have not crypto assets. We have a partnership with MoonPay. So through MoonPay, the users can easily buy assets on the Ethereum blockchain. So that's also a big benefit for us. And also in our PEAKDEFI wallet app, we integrated for users a credit card. Yeah, and there we work with Crypterium. Maybe you know this project. And Crypterium also has a partnership with Visa. And therefore, we can provide via our app Visa credit cards where you can exchange your Bitcoin or Ethereum into and use the credit card. Yeah. So these are some partnerships that we have to gain more adoption. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, it's great to hear. And we did have MoonPay recently on the show as well. And it's great to hear that you have partnerships in different areas to cover all the bases. So great work on that so far, Sergej. For the viewers that are looking to learn more about the fund, learn more about the Peak token, get involved, as a trader or other party in the fund, what's the best way for them to learn more and to get involved?
Yeah, so directly go into to peakdefi.com, and there you have already at the landing page or in the home page, you have already an explanation. Then we have also a documentation on Gitbook. So if you click on PeakDefi, so if you're in peakdefi.com, you can click on help, and you will land on the whole documentation. You can read the white paper. And yeah, also we have our YouTube channel, Twitter channel, Telegram channel. So you will see everything on the homepage. And yeah, so so there he can get more information about that. Yeah.
Sounds great. I will leave that link in the description box below as well. All the best on all these updates you have with PeakDefi moving forward and for the success of the fund. And let's follow up in the near future.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was nice to be here. Thank you.